What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM, coming to my buddy J4Y, bringing you episode number 88 of our Dota on Demand podcast. What's going on, man?
Still Tuesday, just a little later in the evening. So we're on like not West Coast, I guess. We're on like whatever the hell mountain central something, like wherever Nevada is. Yeah, we're there essentially, time wise.
Yeah,
it's going well.
Hey, we're busy businessmen.
We are. We are staying out late doing busy things.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
It will. It's already begun. But I'm looking forward to the interesting topic at hand. Of course, the international. What's going on with you?
Oh, not much. I'm super stoked. The international is great for just so many things Dota related, but it's been a nice breath of fresh air, and it seems like every week there's just something crazy exciting to be talking about. This week, just the same. We're going to be talking about the Compendium, the prize pool for the International 4, as well as some of the qualifier stuff that's been going on, especially the North American qualifiers. There will be spoiler alerts to those, so if you guys are particularly interested in the standings, check those games out, then come right back. But, the Compendium is, I think, a great place to start because it's something that Valve started, 2 years ago? Last year? Last year.
Correct, just last year.
Just last year. And, I thought it was a neat thing at the time, and obviously other tournaments have sort of taken it on of late to add to their repertoire. But this year's Compendium seems to be pretty legit. What are your thoughts on it?
They've obviously taken it to a whole new level this year. They've done everything right, and Valve is one of these companies that knows how to take something and just run with it. And this is something they've completely done with it. I'm actually surprised since they've introduced it that it seems like the only other things that have taken this and run with it are other Dota 2 tournaments so far that have gotten compendiums or things that you get to add to the prize pool. It's such a genius idea. It's still putting money in Valve's pocket, you have to know. Because 25% goes to the prize pool, but there's still that 75%. And pretty sure that goes, at least some of it, right to Valve's pockets. So pretty smart on their end. And they've just added a lot of features. They've really given a lot of incentive for people to spend more money this year than ever.
Yeah, compared to the first one, you have this addition of buying points towards your leveling up Compendium, which gives you items, skins, courier, battle point booster for the games you're playing.
Teleport color changes.
Yeah, color changes in game which are like noticeable but not distracting or anything. They don't, damage the game. I know watching some of these qualifier games, you have people trying to point out, and they're like, yep, still haven't seen it yet. Some say, oh, there's the glowy effect. Okay, cool. And what I have to say is my favorite part is the complete the 10 hero challenge.
Oh,
I don't know about you, but I have found this to be a really neat tool. Not tool, but I guess aspect of the Compendium that's actually made me realize that I should have been playing certain heroes all along. But how did your random 10 go? Did it work out for you?
It's I feel like it's like they did least played and they just kind of threw 10 together. I guess not completely. It's like 8 of them might be least played, and then there's like 2 that are like, oh yeah, you have a skin for that. Sure, we'll let you play that one. But I guess my 10 are Visage, Medusa, Pudge, Razor, Kunkka, Phantom Lancer, Abaddon, Silencer, Quap, and Bloodseeker. So I've already knocked out 2. Pudge and Bloodseeker. I have to say, from this pool, I'm really happy that over half of them are mid heroes, because that means I get to do what I'm really good at and take control of the game. I only have a few supports, and Visage being one of them really scares the hell out of me. I have to say that much.
I also got Quap and Visage. Not thrilled about it.
The opposite reaction, perhaps.
I played a game as Queen of Pain, actually, and it didn't go so bad. I have a problem playing mid that I don't know when I have the advantage to press, So it's always like I don't lose mid, but I don't really win it.
You
And
do
so,
probably excel at farming heroes like Dragon Knight, Death Prophet. You would probably do really well in those kind of roles.
yeah, I have Death Prophet, which I was actually kind of stoked about. Played game is her. Played game is Queen of Pain. They were both like, did fine. Team lost. Oh well, what can you do? Same with my Riki. I actually have Riki as one of mine, and I played pretty well. It was like 8-2 and something, and we lost. So can only shoulders only so broad. The ones I'm actually really upset about, Broodmother.
Oof.
Which you can't. I learned very quickly. You can't pick before the bell, the whistle, the horn.
Oh.
You have to bring it down to the wire, else you get so hard counterpicked. It is unbelievable. But the one that actually really surprised me, I have 4 done by the way, so get wrecked.
Wow.
Wraith King, Sand King, lots of kings. Razor, which was a good game, and Ancient Apparition. So Sand King is this hero that I have played, let's say, all of 5 games with, and I would like random him, or would just like get forced into picking him somehow, and then I'd be like, oh man, we won that game. I landed like 8-man burrow strikes somehow, not even possible, but made it work. Guess I'll never play this
Get
hero
those
again.
Becker units.
Yeah.
That counts.
And then I would never play him again. But coming back because of this 10 hero challenge, actually wound up playing him. Had to play him a couple times because we lost, and not because of the amazing burrow strikes.
Of course.
And yeah, I was just like, why haven't I been playing this guy the whole time? So I like that. It's definitely forced me to play some heroes, or will force me to play some heroes I'm not entirely comfortable with, but it's also, heroes that I kind of just forgot that I liked or was good with, or, it's kind of nice. Just like with our hero challenges that we do every once in a while, I feel like it's been nice to just sort of like, hey, you have to do this, and you get to learn a lot about just yourself playing the game and the different heroes.
Yeah, I'm actually I was really thrilled to see Pudge on my list because I haven't played Pudge in a very long time, and due to getting the Dream League ticket, got that amazing chainsaw weapon. Thing is baller as hell. Like I put that on, I was like, damn dude, like I am so stoked to play this hero, and I had the god hooks that game. I'm not gonna lie, I had all the god hooks that game. Like I was left and right and center. I lost the first one, wasn't my fault of course. But second game, I think I won it for the team completely. But not to brag too much, but I was really cool to get that experience going. And then the Bloodseeker game that lasted like 5 hours or however long that game lasted. We eventually won. I think was that Bloodseeker?
Which we also have to point out that we are officially, this is the one time that we're going to make the announcement. Bloodseeker is now Bloodseeker.
Oh yes.
Because we decided that's a thing. So Bloodseeker.
It was the game Bonk went Radiance, Sanjin Yasha, Omni Knight, and we still won. Believe it or not, we still won. Pulled through.
Like the way you described that.
It was pretty accurate. He was like 3-10 or something. It was not his best showing, but he tried to carry us despite all our carries we had on our team. So those are my only 2. I have played one Massage game and won a bagging game. Haven't won either, so that was unfortunate. Massage though, I was kind of almost looking forward to in a way because I rebound my keys since playing in this JDL, and I was making it easier to micro. So I'm like, all right, here's a hero that you have to micro on. So I'm like, this is probably gonna be a good test. All right, I got a phone call from the fiance right as the game started. Horrible idea to play a micro-intensive hero when you're on the phone, or probably distracted with anything, seeing car crashes outside, whatever you're distracted with. I don't know, eating popcorn, all various things. So honestly, I didn't have my best performance, but I'm excited to continue trying these microing heroes, and maybe one day we'll get to a decent level.
I feel like we have to put you out on public display for what your key bindings used to be, because you told me, and I cried a lot on the inside. I don't know, no wonder you never played Micro Heroes, because you rebound tab, so you couldn't cycle through units.
Cycle through units. Nope.
No. So I get it now.
Had to click each one.
It
was hard. I have to say, Meepo would have been a nightmare. That would have never. That I just would have used one Meepo. I don't think I could have used the other ones, to be honest.
Why skill the ultimate?
Yeah,
it's just
I don't.
more ways to die.
The thing is, and I blame Heroes of Newerth completely for that, because I was so used to Tab being the scoreboard for a game that I was like, no, League of Legends.
League of Legends, yeah.
Well, one of those other fake MOBAs, whatever it was, imposters. Posers. Yeah, but I have rebounded it. Tab is now cycle through units again, and I don't have a... I do miss having... Like, sometimes I still press Tab just to, like, try to see the scoreboard, and I get kind of sad when it doesn't happen, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting the Micro. I have PL too, so I guess Micro is going to be happening. I'm really... I think the most excited I am... Well, Bloodseeker was. Bloodseeker. I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I was... okay, and this was my noob moment. I know we're going a little off tangent here, but did not know that Bloodthirst gave bonus damage. I genuinely didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that we did a patch review that may have included
Absolutely.
that.
You're going to hear me say, beat him! I can't believe how amazing bonus damage is. Like, you'll go back to the episode and be like, wow, Jay, you're an idiot. But, like, I honestly was playing, I'm like, why do I have plus 70 damage? Like, I didn't do anything yet. It's just like, oh, wow, this passive's awesome. So, yeah, that was kind of cool to discover.
Yeah, I mean, so who are you most stoked about with who you have left, and who are you most afraid of?
Medusa straight up. And that's from watching the pro games, seeing him played mid, and just seeing him just build up that farm, build up that shield, and just I love the reworked mana shield. You can even use it early in the game if you want now to defend yourself. And I mean, Medusa is like obviously not the most exciting hero in terms of play style, but the new split arrow, I'm really confused, or not confused. I'm really intrigued about how that might actually be worth putting like a point into early and like getting kind of a little bit extra damage output in those early stages as well. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how I want to build her and how I want to play her. I think she actually has a lot of potential, especially with any kind of team that synergizes like any kind of physical output. It could be really devastating.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're still struggling, even in the pro scene, to figure out how the patch notes have really changed all these heroes, because you still see the builds on Medusa, or the couple games we've seen her that will like ignore some of her abilities. They'll just go like mana shield stats, and then they'll go for split arrow later. And I'm not really. I feel like you don't necessarily have to do that. I feel like they're with the improvements to mana shield and the change to the split shot. I feel like you don't have to put points into stats like you might have felt obligated to do before, but yeah, I'm curious to be a part of that game. I have Spirit Breaker. I was like, let's get those two together in a game. That sounds amazing. But
Mask of Madness Spirit Breaker, that game?
Of course. Yeah,
every game. Why just that one? Yeah.
But I think I'm most afraid of Broodmother. Hate,
of course.
And I really liked the game of Riki I played. Was in a position where I was able to deny a lot of experience to the offlaner because of the buff to backstab.
Backstab OP.
It's really a nice change. It's a nice buff. I feel like Riki's gotten a lot of love lately. Almost, I guess, like the Broodmother too. You almost have to sort of wait, or I'm probably going to wind up waiting to pick it, just so you don't get like 8 heroes. Again, 8's a great number tonight. For 4 staff, or ways to try and counter them. But it's definitely been interesting. I might burn the reroll.
You get one of those. We didn't say that, but you do get that one. I think it's just one, right?
Yeah, one reroll on the heroes that haven't been completed. Might wind up leaving Visage, Brood, maybe even the Quap. I just don't like. Just not a big fan.
Just be ready for the Meepo that you obtain from this. I think every single time you reroll, you automatically get Meepo as one of them. Valve was like, you deserve this as punishment. This is what happens.
Yeah, but then I get to try 4 Meepo, and I might be
as long as I don't have to level up that Meepo ultimate, I'll be okay. No Stand Unite. I mean, why would you even need that, to be honest? Seems unnecessary.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so anyways, so the whole point of this, get your Compendium on. It also makes you purple in the game, which is, who doesn't want to be purple? It's Raven's color. I'm just saying, football-wise, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, you get to feel a little special, and Actually, everyone that's not purple just looks really lame, to be honest.
Oh.
And in the loading screen, it shows everyone's level of their compendium, so you get to brag with that. Your EP rating goes up pretty good.
Yeah, and you can also, in buying the points, contribute towards the prize pool 25%.
Yep.
And increase your level. I mean, I bought the $5 just to see like how many, like what level that would get you to. I mean, you get some pretty swag stuff. I mean, you get Lieutenant Squawkins, ain't nothing wrong with that. Not my favorite international bird courier. You know, me and Drodo go way back. But I think it's just really neat getting to have these achievements for leveling up your compendium. Great way to generate money for Valve. Great way to generate money for the teams. So I am just pretty impressed overall with the compendium. I will say though that before this all came together, before I got to see the compendium, I was actually I was gonna have to do a formal apology. After last week, I was a little bit hard on Team Newbie. You know, it's like, oh, compare them to EG. What have they done? They haven't, accomplished anything. And as it turns out, I am retracting that original wish to retract my original statement, because if you look through the compendium, you go, oh, Alliance, 4 accomplishments, including win the International. And you go, oh, Fnatic, first place in MLG TKO and 2 runner-up spots in named tournaments. And then you go, Team Newbie, no accomplishments. They have literally accomplished nothing.
They've accomplished an invitation to the International. That's a pretty good accomplishment, in my opinion.
Accomplishment, made it to the International without anything listed in their
Damn, seriously, just scraping by the bottom of the barrel. That's pretty fucking amazing, in my opinion. I like it.
Only team. So I just had to throw that out there. I thought that was
that is good.
Funny.
That is good. So we didn't talk about the pool yet, though, right? The actual numbers.
No, we have not.
Yeah, you want to say that?
It's silly. Silly is a word. The amount of money, just looking historically, you start with the $1.6 million, highest amount of money in ever for an esports event. That's pretty slick. Cool. Then you go, 2.6, 2.7-ish. Crazy. Even bigger. Now pushing $4.5 million.
Almost, yeah.
Really impressive. Really, I feel like kind of ridiculous. You were mentioning earlier, it's a lot of money to be made for Valve. Of course, only $2.50 of the money spent on these things is going towards the prize pool, and to get it that high, it's currently sitting at a 172.51% increase over the initial value. I mean, what are your thoughts? Did you expect it to go this crazy?
I thought it'd be more than last year for sure, but this much, no. And honestly, though, like I said earlier, it makes a lot of sense. The way they had the leveling the compendium, you get perks for putting money into it, buying those. They're like crystal shards or something, and that's what gives you experience to level your compendium. And it's just like giving those rewards is what's inspiring people that normally would have done nothing more than the bare minimum just to get the compendium. Now you have a reason to. And just to give you kind of a big picture, all the listeners out there, International 2013, the total prize pool, 2,275,000, 24 days that raised. That's pretty, well, not raised, that was the total. So they raised about 600K, 700K. Pretty good, right? In 5 days, they've raised 2.8 million. 5 days. So obviously it was dramatic in the first couple days. Like, it was like huge purchases. And it's starting to slow down a bit, but it's still going up. And it's going up at a decent rate. At this rate, now I haven't seen anyone like predict anything, but I could easily see it getting surpassing 5 million, even maybe getting close to 6 million. And as far as that's concerned, there's stretch goals. And these are good to know because we're literally 100,000 off the next stretch goal, which is new music pack for Dota 2.
I know I was talking to Skater X, and he was saying that he was looking forward to the music. I am actually the most excited for the last one. I think because that's really the change, or the stretch goal that provokes the most change.
Yeah.
I mean, unlock an item that allows Compendium owners to customize a building in their base. Don't really know what that means, but that is something that isn't that you really haven't even seen any sort of prelude to previously. I mean, all of this other stuff, unlock a game option, okay. I mean, I feel like everything here was going to come one way or another, and the stretch goals is just, hey, why don't we galvanize people to spend money for things that we were already going to do to start with? But that's the one I feel like is really the push towards the biggest actual change to what we have now. You know, environmental effects, okay, we've seen those, cool, been there, done that. Game modes, all right, that's neat too, I guess. New music pack, I always have mine turned off, so that's fine. But you know, I could totally see reaching that 6 million with the rate it's going, and you know, you figure too, people are going to be, as they're just playing their games and they're going through their compendium, they're going to go, oh man, I'm really close to this next level, which will get me, you know, more immortal items. Let me go ahead and drop $5 to
Exactly.
push myself to that next level. So I think that even unlike last year, you're just going to have people who have already spent money continuing to spend money the closer we get to the international, and you know, are they going to have to make new stretch goals?
Well, that's a genuine question. I mean, 6 million is definitely doable at this rate. But I think anything beyond 6 million would probably be it's questionable. I mean, we have what, another 20ish days. A little more, actually. I guess I don't know when the cutoff is, but if it goes based on last year, where it was 25 days or whatever, 24 days, then we have another 19 days, and at this rate, yeah, we could hit 6 million. But who knows how much it'll slow down or anything? And I'm no analyst, I'm no math guy. Clearly, from this podcast, you guys know we're no math people here, but there's a chance of it, sure. And, the only thing I am disappointed about is the fact that last year, the last stretch goal was we got to choose what hero they put in, and no option for that this year. I'm a little bummed.
If they hit 6 million, they should just make a $10 million stretch goal of like techies. Just not that it would get reached, but just to like, you know, just
one person's going to donate $4 million just so we can. I mean, hey, people spend thousands on a courier. You never know what people are capable of in this game.
Yeah, and on it, like, that's the penultimate. We're going to do this anyway, but why don't you throw money at us so that we can, kind of thing.
Yeah, because they totally don't have the resources right now.
No. But yeah, I just think, I mean, most important question, I think, pretty much.
Yeah.
Of the compendium, J4Y, who is your favorite team, and who is your favorite player? Who did you pick?
Team DK.
Oh, wasn't expecting that.
Mushi.
Oh, all right.
I know, it was unexpected.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm not a traitor. I actually.
Oh, sorry. Well, come on. Arteezy saves. If you say Arteezy, I swear to God.
Okay, so here's the thing. EG for favorite team.
Of course.
And I went with Arteezy, but then I changed it.
Just guessed.
Changed it actually to Zai. Because
support?
I was just thinking about it, and you know, like, I'll watch Arteezy stream sometimes, and he's kind of like, I don't know, he gets like mad at stuff, and I'm like, I'm not digging it. But then I thought about Zai. You know, he's the youngest player at the international this year. He winds up getting a lot of picks on EG that are just sort of have been unconventional, or that he might not be expecting to play on a particular night. And just kills it. And, you know, just watching an interview with him lately, from playing in the Dream League, I believe it was, you know, just really well put together human being. And for how young he is, I mean, I'm definitely excited about seeing, you know, what kind of stuff he winds up playing in the international. Mm-hmm. And honestly, getting to hear a lot from the personalities on EG, and even Mason, who has been standing in for Fear.
Yeah.
All of them just really cool guys. I'm actually kind of bummed that Mason isn't a part of the team now, because I've really come to like that guy and like watching him play. So hopefully he gets
picked up. I think in the shuffle he might find a home, to be honest.
Yeah.
He is obviously, he's very, very talented. He's a very good player. So I would be surprised if he doesn't find a way to a team in the shuffle. which we all know is inevitable. There will be the shuffle.
It will be the truffle shuffle.
Trouble shuffle. Yeah, I know. I guess it's surprising. Well, I mean, it's not too surprising. DK is going to be the bandwagon team this year, and I was supportive before the bandwagon. I want to say, but I do want to say that.
Not vocally, but internally he was.
Internally, I was. Believe me, I had there's a little me waving a flag really quickly in my hand or something. I don't know, but don't just ignore that. But Mushi is, in my opinion, one of the best mid players in the scene. I mean, obviously he is. He's on DK and he plays middle. But I just think he's also so versatile, and I love the kind of heroes he plays, which makes me really favor him. Arteezy plays more of a farming mid, which is why I kind of don't like him as much. I also don't like his personality because I watch him stream too sometimes, and he's kind of an asshole. Let's be honest. But
yeah.
So unfortunately that kind of turned me off from him a bit. But he's obviously very good, so I'm not going to take that away from him. But he is more of that farming middle, so that's not really my style. When I play middle, I like aggro, and that's right up Mushi's alley. When he doesn't play middle, he plays like centaur off lane, so you know he likes aggro. So it's pretty legit. I want to see him play some more Axe, though, to be honest. That would be pretty exciting. But who knows what we have in store, except for IO Morphling.
I actually... Speaking of the qualifiers, I'm actually really surprised that we haven't seen much of that. It was something I kind of wanted to bring up before the qualifiers got started. You look at that combination, and I sort of just like saw it a couple times in a row, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I hadn't seen much out of this, and now that Morphling's becoming more popular, you sort of have this option for a combination. It even seems like Tiny is almost not as impressive as he was looking in the first couple days out of the new patch. But actually hasn't really shown up that much. Kind of surprised. Seemed to be actually a North American invention for the most part, coming out, having most of the games played from teams in North America, but actually hasn't been too impactful, unfortunately. But I was hoping I was going to like call it. What's up? I am Morphling all day, every day. But can't win them all.
Before we get into the North American, I think we had a couple other things we wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah,
so
we did.
Let's not jump the gun yet.
Well, hey, you're the one bringing it up.
I'm sorry. I'm just the excitement's real.
I know. Okay. All right. So one of the other things I really wanted to talk about was the qualifiers have really given us a new thing to look at in terms of the whole, international. It almost feels like a season now. And this sort of ramp up to the final event. We have this extra venue for teams to come to show why they deserve to be on the main stage. And it's sort of been interesting to see the number of misfires that have really sort of come out of the invites. I think most famously you have the issue with Revenge, where they're forced to try to play with a different roster. They eventually back out. Smash leaves the team. They get replaced by another team, but then Valve's like, well, we'll invite you back. Maybe we shouldn't, we'll guys can come back. We'll make an 11-team qualifier. Team comes back together. They do okay. I think currently they still have a snowball's chance at making it in to the finals of the bracket version of the qualifiers. But there have actually been several teams who have sort of suffered from the invites and the rosters not being accurate. And I kind of just want to point out a couple of them, because some of them I feel like you can place the blame maybe on both parties, Valve and the team, but then other ones are just sort of really strange. Hyper Glory team, there's an On Gamers article which we can link on the Facebook. It's called TI4 Qualifiers, Invite First, Ask Questions Later. And Hyper Glory team, their player Kaka is sick, isn't going to be able to play, he actually went home back to wherever he was from to recuperate for an extended period of time, and the team is currently working with Valve to try to see if they're allowed to get a replacement for their team. Okay, sickness, that's unfortunate. Then you also have Tongfu, who make an internal roster change, don't make it a public announcement until after they get invited to the qualifiers, and they go, oh, but this is our team, and Valve goes, nope, you have to play with these people. Good luck. Don't think there's really been any resolution quite yet for their case, but I think the strangest one by far has been with Hehe United, who were actually invited with a team roster that reportedly by Hehe has never actually played together at the same time, and that they were invited based on a join Dota league ticker that happened to list the players of the team incorrectly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, I mean, just all these cases? I mean, do you think that it's unreasonable for Valve to say this is who you have to play with, or I guess just in general how teams are getting invited to this qualifier event?
They need to fire whoever's in charge of that and hire someone else, is my first thought. I can't honestly believe that a company that's so well organized in so many aspects has dropped the ball so majorly on this. And it's funny that we would have had no idea if these articles didn't come out. Like, we as the audience, we would have literally had no idea. Like, all this behind the scenes stuff, and it could be even worse in in other ways too, and things we don't hear about. But you hear about, it's not just one isolated incident. It's like multiple. And what if this has happened over years? I mean, like the fact that some of these are pretty major problems, like the joint Dota ticker. Like, how can they not be in communication with these teams? I feel like all it takes is a few emails back and forth, maybe even a phone call. I know there's international issues, so maybe the phone call thing's an issue, but just some emails, get some correspondence going. I feel like it's not honestly asking too much to get that confirmation. Like, that's what I think is surprising me the most, is that there's not, like, doesn't seem to be this, like, back and forth agreement between Valve and these teams. It's just like, oh, hey, you're in if you use them. Otherwise, too bad. Like, it's like that's final, and that's ridiculous. That doesn't seem practical. It doesn't seem logical, and it really makes Valve look bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty pro Valve person. I would
Right.
say, I think everywhere along the way go, oh, great job, guys, really, really well put together. But this really feels like a major misstep. I feel like you pay one guy for a day, and they could get you maybe a better representation. Because I think all the other cases, you go, okay, well, maybe this, maybe that. But for Hehe, you pulled information from one place, and it wasn't accurate. You just trusted. Now, I will say Valve is obviously trusting all of these different studios with sort of hosting the qualifiers and doing the production for it. So they're sort of, I guess, used to sort of maybe outsourcing other people. But I just feel like you just look yourself. You Google Liquipedia and you check out Join Dota instead of just going to this one place and pulling this one piece of information. It's kind of disturbing. And now, especially,
Right.
Here's the other thing too. Considering this international, you have this Compendium, which has made just obscene amounts of money for Valve. And then you also have, if you're thinking about the case of Kaka, you have Clinton Loomis, Mr. Fear, who has not been playing for EG.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been playing at all. He's been on IR. But he's going to be able to play in the international on an invited team, despite the fact that he isn't showing himself, hasn't been playing for an extended amount of time. And it's sort of, I think, weird that you have these broad stipulations or broad ideas of what it is that causes you to be worthy of an invite to the international, but then it seems to go, one way in this case and another way in another.
Yeah, I know. It's unreal, to be honest. And I'm still stuck on the fact that, for the Hehe case, that they used an incorrect ticker at that. They used, not only did they use just like this random ticker information, but it wasn't even correct that day. It was messed up, and they still went with that, and they're being stubborn and saying, well, sorry, that's what you have to do now. Like, how unreal. Now, fortunately, they have done a little bit of good in light of all of this. The original issue, Revenge, was going to decide to quit originally because they were denied a roster change, And obviously, as you all know, if you're following the qualifiers, there's actually 11 teams for North America because they allowed Revenge back in with the roster they wanted, and but they allowed the team they invited in their place, Isurus,
Close enough.
whatever, gaming.
They didn't win, so it's okay.
IG B squad. They allowed them to come in, so they allowed them to stay. So it's 11 teams in. So that was really good of Valve, I think, in terms of trying to win back a little bit of that. Is a positive for them. But in the whole, yeah, they really have shit the bed. There's no other way to put it. They've really done a bad job with this, and I think it's good that this is out in the public and out in the open. So they kind of everyone's made more aware of it, and hopefully going forward, there's a lot better job coordinating with the teams and making sure that everyone is on the same page. This also could be a year, though, where there's just like a lot of ridiculous changes, whereas previous years it wasn't this ridiculous of changes. Like, it could be a kind of like a weird coincidence, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like they just dropped the ball.
I feel like you can chalk a couple things up to Valve's favor. You have this sport that's growing at an outrageous speed. You have a lot of these teams they don't have managers, or they have regular roster changes. They play with more than 5 people. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's as simple as going to these teams and saying, "Hi, we're considering you for the international qualifiers. These are the things that we are judging off of. You know, if you have a stable roster or whatnot, submit the team that you would take to the qualifiers. And if we think that that's a representation of, your stable roster, what it's been over this time, then maybe you'll get in." And hey, maybe they would look at some of these teams and go, "Oh, you're trying to switch out 3 people based on what we've been seeing? Sorry, buddy, not going to make it."
Mm-hmm.
But they just go, "You're invited. And if you had made this decision yesterday, it would have been cool. But making it tomorrow, it's not going to work for us."
Right. That's a bit way too much, and it's for not seem like reasonable. It's not reasonable in my opinion. I think honestly, if they could have put a little more thought into it and a little more effort into it, I think it could have been all of this could have been avoided, and we wouldn't have had the issues come about. So yeah, hopefully going forward, this will come out. We will put this on our Facebook page, like you said earlier, so you guys can, if you haven't heard about it already, you can read up on it and see what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I think that this is, I sort of characterized it as a misstep when they basically decided, "Oh, we couldn't get the venue that we wanted in the state range, so now we're holding it earlier," and this actually interferes with a bunch of other LAN tournaments to the point where one of them was basically canceled. And you're like, "Oh, that's kind of weird that you would wait till now to make this reservation," or what have you. I really hope that these sort of hiccups have Valve alert and at the ready for planning next year well in advance, and sort of having these things thought through. Obviously, this qualifier, it's the first time you're doing it, you might run into some problems, and like we have mentioned a couple times, glad that they're at least they're being a little flexible in what's going on, but hopefully it's just a good wake-up call to realize that it's only going to keep growing this quickly, and you're only going to have to be more and more prepared for mass quantities and rapid growth.
Yep, exactly. I think they're going to address this. Well, we all hope that they're going to address this in future TIs to come.
So I think that leaves us with
qualifiers in general. But not
all right.
quite.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
not
we
quite.
can do that.
Not quite the Americas.
I'm just, I'm not a deserter like you. I'm just so enthralled by the American teams.
I suppose, and I don't blame you. But I did want to. I think I called this earlier. We're gonna give our guesses, our predictions, if you will.
I think you had it right the first time, but go on.
Yep. Of who will come out as the victor in each of the 4. Now we know that there's going to be a total of 5 winners that get into TI4 because all the second place teams get to play for a shot. But we're not going to do that much. We're going to go for just all the first places. I mean, that's just way too much predicting at that point. That is way too next level. If you could do that, you could have also probably called the March Madness bracket, so we're not going to go that crazy. It's almost the same thing. So, the Americas, the Southeast Asia, the China, and the Europe. We're going to give ours, and then I want you guys afterwards to let us know what you think. And who knows, maybe we'll shout you out if you call it correctly here. Well, we definitely will, because that's pretty damn impressive, I have to say. But see how everyone stacks up to us. So I'll let you go first. Who do you predict?
Great. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
In all the regions here.
America's, I mean, it's kind of already in full swing.
Yes.
But I really like North American rejects. Team Liquid, they seem like they've been doing this one or two things really well, but if they get pushed out of their comfort zone, they sort of fall apart. Was watching their game against Shadows of the Past earlier, and they almost lost it. They wound up just playing, I guess, a better composed game overall, but they really just lost the early game and were just barely able to sort of pull it back together as the game went on. So Liquid awfully shaky. I'm gonna go with North American rejects. I feel like China's so hard. China's difficult.
It is.
I'm gonna go with Dreamtime. I like them. I am giving them my boon of confidence. I know Hyper Glory Team was supposed to be sort of a favorite going in, but how is this going to turn out with their players? That like we had mentioned last week, I feel like it's just a lot of big name organizations, but I'm gonna put my money behind Dreamtime. Europe, I'm totally just gonna go with my heart here because I feel like there are actually a lot of squads that have a good shot. Team Dog has actually been looking really good of late, but I like Roxkis, I like Goblock. I'm probably gonna go with them. And if I have to go Southeast Asia, Arrow. I'm gonna go with Arrow.
Ooh, Arrow. Interesting.
Gonna go with Arrow.
Dang.
Yes,
it's quite a call.
It is a call.
That's a gut call right there. That's a gut check right there.
Shot in the dark.
Bam. All right.
Now that I've given you all my professional opinion,
yes,
for you to use,
I have a lot to talk about with the North America too, or Americans in general. To me, it was gonna always be down to Liquid and NAR, North American Rejects. I always thought they were the top two. I wanted to give Sneaky Nick's Assassins a little kudos to be a runner-up, but I don't think they're just playing on the same level as these other two teams. And the only reason I really want to favor NAR is whenever these two teams play against each other, NAR just seems to have their way with Liquid. They just seem to know their strengths against them and how to exploit the weaknesses of Liquid right now. And it feels like a pattern that's just coming in all these high-level games. And it's, anything can happen, of course. And, we're going to get in the qualifiers and the standings, but both teams are really doing really well. And honestly, I believe that it's going to be those two in the final for the qualifier. And if that's the case, I just have to give the advantage to NAR purely for the experience that I'm talking about, that I'm referencing. The fact that NAR continues to win against them in matchups.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that if we're looking at their runners-up, if Team Liquid go, I don't foresee them winning the spot. I just don't think that they're... I mean, they seem to they have some strong performances, but, after seeing that Shadows of the Past game, you're just like, what happens if you get caught off guard? There just seem to be a lot of indecision, not sure of themselves, and so playing really cautious.
We do have to reflect, though, that these are all been just best of ones between all the teams, and then we're going into best of threes and best of fives. So they won't get as caught off guard. The first game, maybe they'll lose one in the series because they didn't see something coming, but then they can ban it out the next one and play more maybe towards their game plan. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm also going to go with North American Rejects here for Americas. I think they've got what it takes. And also, I have to continue the road to the team I beat winning the TI4 hashtag. So really long one. Not going to be used probably very often, but
that's your whole Twitter post right there. That one thing.
That is the whole. It's like hi hashtag. Yeah, I don't know. China. I think Dream Team has Dream Team. They kind of are the Dream Team. I think Dream Team has a good chance, but I'm actually gonna go with LGD Gaming. I think I like the roster that they have going into this. But I think Dreamtime is definitely going to be in the top 4. I think they're going to go to the playoffs. So I could see them also taking it. I could see them being the 5th slot. That's my prediction. You know what? That's mine. Screw it. That's my prediction. I said I wasn't going to, but I'm going to do it now. LGD winning it. Dreamtime 5th slot. Europe. This one, I already said earlier, I think is going to be one of the harder ones to call, in my opinion. I think that the talent here is pretty evenly distributed among a few of the teams. I know that sounded a little harsh. I mean, yeah, there's some good talent in here all around, but honestly, I'm liking. It's down for me. It's between Team Dog and Roxkiss. I like them the best. I think that.
What an original idea you had there.
All right, I let you go first, so you get to look like you're the good guy. All right, whatever. But I'm gonna go with Roxkiss. I think they've been performing well. Hey, we've deferred on one at least. It's fine.
Handsome and intelligent men pick Roxkiss.
This has purely been. I have these written in my Word document, so I'm just saying that I am not. I could show it to you, but I just don't feel like it. And then finally, maybe we'll defer. Well, we're definitely deferring in Southeast Asia. Arrow is not my call. I can tell you that much. But I like your boldness. It's inspiring.
Is it MVP Phoenix? Is that who you picked? Yeah, it is. It's not what it is.
It's not.
It's not. I know.
It's not. It's going to be down to. Well, here's the thing with Southeast Asia, right? There's a lot of teams I don't know in here because I don't watch the scene very often. Unfortunately,
so you just ignore them and you. Bad.
You just go with your gut, right? That's kind of the thought there. I'm probably gonna go with Scythe Gaming.
Okay.
As my winner here, but since I don't know it very well, that is a big toss up. I'm going to be rooting for Zephyr, 100%. Go Zephyr, Purge, Blitz, other 3 people. You guys got it. Corey, I know you like your Corey guy, but other 3 guys, all 5 of you. You got it, man. Go for it. Live the dream. Zephyr was an OP hero in Heroes of Newerth, so you know what? I have faith that you guys have it behind you.
You're mentioning Zephyr, too, and that was actually, I was reading an interview with Blitz, and he was talking about the qualifiers in general, and he was asked, how do you feel about the number of games that are being played sort of in such a small span of time? And actually, I really liked his answer. He was like, I like it a lot better than if it were to be spread out over a large period of time, because basically you're not going to have the time to think, okay, this is our next matchup. Let's research this team and figure out what we can beat them with. You're pretty much going to have to go into this with your team in the best shape it can be, and the team that performs the best, the most consistently, is going to wind up doing well in the whole thing. And you're also going to have the presence of mind and just the ability to play all these games straight in a row and just have that fortitude to be able to keep going. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually really nice. I mean, that's something that you sort of, when we've talked about the formats of other tournaments where you go, oh yeah, you got to play a lot in a row, you don't get to look at your other team, that sucks. You're also fatigued when you go up against a team that has just gotten to rest and watch you play. But when you have all of these teams that are sort of, hey, you have to come here and test your mettle to see if you can play with the big dogs, I actually kind of think that that's a fitting way to go. And like we had mentioned previously, the format, I feel like, is really good for that in general, having to come in here, play a bunch of games. Then you go into brackets, you play best of 3s, you go, through this, and I think you have more than enough opportunities to prove that, you're the most consistent and best team to take out of these regions that wasn't invited.
Absolutely, it's gonna test your endurance and it's gonna test every aspect of you as a Dota player. That's right. They want you to be the best of the best, and that's why they're putting you through the ringer here. So, I agree. I think it's a great plan, and this is what a great transition to. Well, you might call it the best qualifier NA.
You could,
if you're witty.
You definitely could.
Yeah.
Some of us were that witty last week. Where we were ahead of the curve. We had it ready to go. Sometimes we spend some time coming up with names for the episodes, and sometimes it takes a lot longer than.
Sometimes when you talk about hot dogs and ketchup, so anything could happen.
Jay YOLO swags it, and it backfires slightly. But best qualifiers NA. I mean, I've been enjoying them. I have been quite surprised. I feel like with some of the picks, the win rates of the heroes, and I feel like a lot of these heroes actually have, just in participating with the qualifier and with the patch being so new, have actually helped the hero rebound from kind of less than fantastic numbers. Kotal in general, he's actually 10-2 in the qualifiers so far.
Wow. Picked
12 times, the most picked hero. Oh, surprise, surprise, Mirana. But Treant Protector coming out second, Shadow Demon in third. And, Mirana's win rate, 73%, is kind of ridiculous, but you look at the next two, Treant Protector, 54%, kind of high, I guess. Shadow Demon, 59%, that's kind of outrageous, but I feel like a lot of these are fairly normalized. The other one that actually stands out to me, too, is Shadow Fiend, 16 games played, 75% win rate. Wraith King, too, awfully really high. But, what have you thought about the qualifiers in general? Have there been any picks that have stood out to you for being unusual, or that you're maybe happy to see?
Oh, happy. Okay.
Unusual or happy. It doesn't have to be both.
I was going to say I'm not happy with Morphling at all. I love the hero personally. In competitive play, I get tired of it real quick. But he's such a dominating hero that I completely understand the pick. And I love the IO combination. Like you said, I'm kind of upset that it's not getting displayed as much as we were seeing it for a little while there. But, he's such a dominating figure. The Mirana win rate makes complete sense to me. It's the few games I did get to catch, and I'm going to have to watch a lot later. Like we said earlier, busy businessmen, not always the most time. But Mirana seems to be getting run with her favorite heroes. So, like, let's say the one team wants to first pick AA or whoever they want with their first pick. If they leave Mirana on the table, you'll see Mirana Shadow Demon get just locked up. And, so she gets a lot of her good synergies going when she does get picked up. So the high win rate, I totally get it. And like we've been saying, she's been, in general, just enjoying such a great win rate throughout the recent patch and the patch even before, that none of this is really shocking to me.
Yeah, it's such a strange hero. It seems like, I don't know why, she's been getting little buffs all along, but I feel like the core of why she's successful has sort of been the same. And, you have these, Shadow Demon and Mirana being the most popular of the combinations. And I don't really know that there's, like, a super great counter for it.
Right.
I'm kind of disgusted by Mirana at this point. I still feel like she doesn't go into games like Morphling used to in, TI2 and just be like unkillable and just rat and obnoxious. But I'm kind of like, Mirana, I'm a little sick of her already. I will say, of the heroes I'm still not sick of seeing yet, Treant Protector. Called it so long ago when we first got put into Dota 2. Completely different hero pretty much at that point in time. But
like, way different, yeah. Right.
No, but anyway, I actually, between Treant Protector, Shadow Demon, and IO2, I feel like these heroes are almost being recast in how the perception of them has previously been. Shadow Demon sort of praised for being a super defensive support. Treant Protector, defensive, allows your other lanes to win, which is sort of why you pick them. But and even IO2, I feel like it's sort of changed back from being the super aggro, pull in tiny, pull in CK to let's pull people out at the last second, or let's give the Morphling a little bit more durability. it's kind of neat to see the shoe on the other foot in a lot of these cases. And I don't know. What do you think about these? I guess the most popular supports in the game seemingly right now, at least for NA.
IO's crushing it. I like IO a lot now, and I like him, like you were saying, in a different kind of dynamic. It's not as gimmicky as it kind of was before, where you'd pick him in, let's say, Chaos Knight or Tiny, and you knew exactly when they drafted that what the hell they were doing. It's like, all right, we're gonna TP in Chaos Knight or Tiny, we're gonna gank that person, and then maybe push a tower or something. With like Morphling or other carries, it's more about, like you're saying, not necessarily. I mean, yeah, he actually can gank pretty well with that combination, but there's also he can just completely crush the lane. He doesn't have to worry about taking harass damage because IO get the regen and provide the health and mana that he needs to sustain in the lane. IO can also roam around the map if he needs to with his Balls of Fury and Tether.
Yeah.
But I honestly am liking IO in this kind of different light. I think he's become a much better and well put hero. I can't think of the words I want to use, but I think he's just become morphed into a better hero.
Or better rounded, I feel like. He's not the one trick
exactly.
pony like you sort of thought he would be. Now, I will say his performance in the American qualifier particularly has been, let's say, abysmal. Only one win of the 8 games played.
Wow.
But I'd say just as a general idea, I just really like how the idea of what this hero does has expanded. And Dream Protector too. I mean, I feel like you think, oh, super defensive, like I'm saying, put the living armor on your Weaver in the off lane, what have you, and he's gonna go win. Dream Protectors now, it's like, figure out what the rune is at the start of the game. If it's invis, haste, or double damage, everyone is dead. Like, it just seems like he's able to get up in people's faces early on. If he roams, he's able to actually somehow get in range for the leech seeds, which I still don't even understand how that's happening. And it's actually really effective. And the skill that you're almost like, it's kind of nice, I guess, whatever, actually seems to be doing quite a bit of work now. PPD has definitely been one of my favorite Dream Protectors to watch of late. Mm-hmm. But hey, like I said, thanks GoBlock for making us all believe.
Well, you were a believer from the start, as you said, but you're getting those pros on board. Yeah, the tree's doing it great. Maybe not Tree Lich per se. Maybe that's a little too much. But this is also kind of a different dynamic. While he is good at ensuring protection for the other lanes as well as the one he's in with his armor, the Leech Seed has just brought him in a whole new light for me. The fact that he's getting used as kind of this aggressive defensive support, if you will. Like, he is actually really not bad at all at zoning out people. Obviously, his auto attack damage being the highest in the game from the start, as well as the Leech Seed giving that slow and the damage and the heal component. He really does a fantastic job, and I saw in a previous game with a Darkseer on his team, putting the Ion Shell on Tree is so scary. Like, you just have to run. There is no way you are fighting that tree, because he is going to tear you a new one. So I was just enthralled watching that kind of combination getting built in there. And like I said, just like the normal tree I thought about originally was, okay, he pulls to the lane and gets living armor and helps everyone out, and maybe overgrowth late game. But this one's like, I'm up in your face, leech seeding the crap out of you, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think the other thing for me, I'd always, when I played him, it's like, items are completely luxury. As long as you're able to have your global presence, you're at least able to contribute to all areas of the map. And now it's like, get early boots and just run around like crazy, apply pressure places, keep your eyes on the runes so that if you do get something like a haste, I mean, how are you supposed to deal with that? Early on, the start of the game, you get a haste rune, you leech seed somebody up, and you're able to just put in that high auto attack damage. How can you not get first blood unless they have an escape? So that's a hero that I feel like we've seen a lot lately that I'm still not tired of. Just going back to what you're talking about with Morphling, I do think it's interesting you have like Darkseers coming back now, Morphling's coming back. There's some of these obnoxious heroes that were here for a while. Morphling I'm still not terribly upset about, believe it or not. Was like shifting around in my chair after I saw that like Team Liquid picked Darkseer. It might have actually been in 9 of the games. I'm not going to pretend to know the exact number. Basically, the only game they wound up dropping was the one they didn't pick Darkseer. So it's like, I guess going back to how they've been performing in the qualifier and why I'm sort of on the fence about them being able to, secure a first or a second spot. Just because, I guess that's cool if you've got this really good thing going on and Bulb was able to run the Darkseer effectively. But what happens if, you sort of get forced into an uncomfortable position and you don't get the pick you want? I don't know.
Then they go Axe.
Axe.
Bulba Axe on Axe. But, or Centaur. He's got 3. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, I think, though, that those have been some interesting pickups so far. The Kodal thing, I mean, it's not a complete shock. I mean, when we talked about him in the patch, I was saying how obviously drastically improved he is with that Aghanim Scepter. It's like night and day. But that wasn't even on purpose, but it just happened. But yeah, I'm almost actually kind of glad to see this high success rate with him because it shows that he is getting appreciated for this change. I was actually kind of bummed out that like after this buff, like people still didn't care about him, and I'm like, I feel like he's got a lot of potential. In that blind, just having that blind can really change fights dramatically if you land one on a couple heroes. So I don't know. I think that's a positive thing and may lead to some more strategies involving him or banning him even.
He's like Darkseer. I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready for
prepared.
that. Mm-hmm.
No, I still think it's strange too that I'm okay with Morphling, but just not these two.
I agree.
But,
I think it is strange. But yet I'm okay with Anti-Mage coming in. So
nope.
So I guess we all have our bad, weak sides.
Apparently. I still have the nightmares, Jay. I still have the nightmares.
As long as Chinese teams don't pick them up, I'm probably okay with it.
Winning slightly for 30 minutes in the game. Oh crap, there's an Anti-Mage that just comes out of the jungle. Sorry,
Right.
It's never going to be okay.
If I can see more strategies like Merlini's stream where he did a roaming Anti-Mage, I'm just saying, these are the things that we need to start considering. Okay?
I will say the one combination that I was enjoying seeing a lot, actually, Treant Protector and Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor's been doing some work, my friend. It's been glorious. I love seeing him. He's actually 64% win rate, picked in 11 games, 7-4. Pretty good. And, I'm curious as to why that combination with Tree is so popular, but I guess you have...
No one dies on your
you
team.
keep people up. Maledict, and then you just Falco Punch as the Tree. I can dig that. I mean, it's nice to see him sort of getting picked up here, and I'm curious to see...
This is the obvious. You ready?
Yes.
This is actually makes a lot of sense. It's called Overgrowth in the Death Ward.
Yep, I said that.
Yeah, well then, why are you surprised?
It's neat that you get to see it all of a sudden with the improved Death Ward.
Yeah, well now that I said it, everyone understands a lot better, I think.
Probably.
Also, I can't tell you how many rants in this podcast I've complained about Paralyzing Cask being the most OP spell in the game. So
it's been more than once.
It absolutely has. It's way too OP. When I say OP, I mean it's just very annoying. Voodoo Restoration, the buffs too, recently, all the major buffs it's been getting. I mean, like I said, that is a really hard team to stop pushing against you when you get all that healing, all that, just everything they bring to the table. I think it's a pretty nasty combination.
Yeah, but, Witch Doctor, I mean, he's up to, overall in the patch, 42 games played, so, Mirana leading the pack with 293. I feel like it's a pretty decent showing, considering that, not too long ago, this hero almost felt like a joke, or only is part of these, like, death ball push strategies, so, it's sort of neat to see that come up here, and, that's, I think, something interesting, too, to just point out about the qualifiers in general, is, if you have a strategy, you have to bring it out now. You can't wait to hold it for later. You pretty much have to play the hand you got and then take the time between winning the qualifier and going to the international to sort of come up with something new.
all your big strategies, have to come out in these 10 games that you play. Because if you don't make it in the top 4, you're not even in the brackets. So, yeah, they've got to bring everything to the table. And, and then when you get to the bracket, you obviously have some more thinking to do. And very quickly, may I add. But, obviously, it's like 2 steps. You got to get to the brackets, and then you got to get at least second place. Obviously, preference being first. But I think we're going to continue to see this good things come from them. And all these witch doctors, or at least a lot of them, I'm seeing a lot of Aghanim Rush is kind of like AA. So it seems to be the popular way to go there.
Yeah, and I'm cool with it. I mean, I think that makes sense. It really has been a really effective tool. I mean, with the buffs, of course, doing more damage, that's fine and dandy. But just building up those general stats, I feel like is nice. I mean, when you have to sit there and channel your ultimate, I mean, you got to see a game earlier today where he was actually able to put together not only the Aghanims, but a BKB as well. And, that's just a silly amount of damage that you're able to pump out. So, and physical damage too, which is, of course, always nice to have against those pesky BKBs.
You know what I didn't realize?
What didn't you realize?
J4Y's learning event of the day. Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can control the Death Ward to choose who it attacks.
Well, there you go.
Didn't know that.
There you have it.
I guess I've only played Witch Doctor, maybe a total of 2 times.
So. I wonder what mine is, to be honest with you. Not that I don't like the hero, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those stigma heroes where I feel like I play it once, and then I lose, and I'm like, ugh, I wish I'd been somebody else, and then I try again later, and it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Still, you play 10 games straight as them that you don't really get to appreciate.
That's a very good point.
Can I tell you just how angry I am, by the way, that you didn't get Tusk in your 10? Because
I do want to play the new Tusk. I will play the new Tusk sometime.
One day.
After the
Eventually.
10. After the 10. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I am a bit upset with it too. I had a good streak going, ended positive, and that was before the buffs, both of them, the ultimate buff and the snowball buff now. So I mean, he's only better, and I could even play Mesa support. That's the beauty. He can play literally any of the roles.
I would probably play him support. I feel like.
Well, that's the standard, but I can be Loda. I can be Loda for a game.
You can do whatever you want. But
Yeah, you dream, you do it. By the way, we haven't even said the standings for the qualifier, so I think
No, we haven't.
I think we should do that. And
for it, my
this
friend.
is, well, let me see if it's updated before I read this off. And like we said earlier, this is obviously Spoiler Town. So
Spoiler Town.
we're in Spoiler
Spoiladelphia?
Village, Spoiladelphia. I guess that's a place.
Oh, it is updated.
Okay, in fact, you go read it off because I don't have it.
Oh, fantastic. Team Liquid, 8-2. North American Rejects, 8-2. And then for your
Ooh.
3 teams at 6-4.
Oh boy.
But I'm guessing based off of advantages, it's actually Union Gaming as well as eHug, bringing up 3rd and 4th position. So
Sneaky Nyx Assassins doesn't make the cut?
they are 5th.
Oh! And guess who's 6th, folks? Can anyone guess who 6th place is? Anyone?
Oh, it's perfect.
It is.
It's perfect.
It's a dream come true. Top 5 sits at number 6.
I mean, it would have been amazing if they were 5th, too, because then it'd be like, well, you lived up to your name, just not good enough for the international.
But yet, they falter. And that was one of predictions gone already, I have to say.
Ari?
That's
Arai? I think it's Arai. God.
Not at 10 o'clock, it's not. It's already at 10 o'clock. Arai. Yeah, I did think... It actually, the first day one, they were... I believe they were in the top 5. I'm pretty sure. And, yeah, I guess they've had a bad streak in the second day, but... yeah, so Liquid and NAR leading the way, and I really do think they're going to be in the grand finals, but... at least now you have your 4 teams. For tomorrow, they're wrapping that up.
Yeah, and actually, by this time next week, we are going to be able to talk about the SEA, I do believe is the next set. Yeah, SEA qualifiers. They'll actually be finished by next Tuesday, so we'll be able to talk about the whole thing together. Man, that's going to be crazy. We're going to have the finals of the
Jeez.
Americas and the finals of SEA to talk about next week. It's going to be a crazy good
We're
episode.
going to be able to talk about how Scythe Gaming beat Arrow in the grand finals. It's going to be crazy, you know.
And then Arrow is going to beat everybody else for second place, or for the 5th invite, and then beat
Scythe.
Scythe in the international, and then I'm going to text you from the arena when it happens to rub it in your face. And
Can't
some
wait for
boys.
that totally long-winded prediction to happen. It's probably going to happen.
Probably.
So yeah, curious to see what everyone else thinks, though. Who you guys are rooting for also with this North American qualifier, if you guys agree with us or not. Poor No Earth Spirit, by the way. I just have to give them a little shout out. They tried their heart out, but in the
They
end,
did live up to their name. There was no Earth Spirit. So
and that's great. In fact, this whole tournament, you may say there's no Earth Spirit, which is
isn't that a victory in its own way for them?
I think it is. It should be. They need something. And also another interesting thing, though, Revenge Esports was predicted to be the team giving Liquid a run for their money, yet not doing that.
I mean, yeah, they were in a predicament of sorts. I feel like even though they got back into it, they're still not happy about how things stood, and I feel like going into it, they didn't really get the opportunity to be a united team, all on the same page, all working towards the same goal, because, their 5th player was like, yeah, I'm just playing for Peru because I'm not, not playing for these guys, not playing for the team, I'm just playing for my country, basically, and so... that's unfortunate. Yeah, 5-5. They didn't do terrible. They still are, in the upper half. But, hopefully, again, going back to just the hope for next year that teams will be more prepared for the idea of this qualifier about when the invites are going to be going out, and maybe, some of these lower tier teams are going to be, well, let's get stable lineups. Let's make sure that we're prepared for this to come well in advance, that they don't have to run into these problems, and hopefully Valve will have it better sorted out on their end too. So,
also, didn't eHug drop their first game due to their person not showing up in time?
they were a minute late, I believe.
Yeah,
well,
they were
31 minutes late.
31 and 30 was the cutoff. That's
Yes.
a shame. So they could have technically been 7-3.
That's true.
That they're doing better than I predicted in my own way. So you know what? We'll see if they give these guys a run for their money, as well as Union, I guess, both of them.
Yeah, so this is all going down tomorrow.
Yep.
So tune in, guys. It should be a really good show. I feel like this isn't maybe the closest top 4 that we'll see out of the qualifiers, but I definitely think there are going to be a bunch of good games in here. And yeah, do you have any other thoughts on the American qualifiers?
Ban Marana against Snake King, and you have a good chance.
There you have it,
I guess
folks.
that's just advice for Liquid.
Now you know how to beat Snake King.
Everybody
does. Wins. Yeah, guys. Stop by the facebook.com/Dota On Demand, and you're welcome to tell us, who you guys are expecting to win the games tomorrow, who your favorites are for all the qualifiers. Go out there, tell us how your games of your random 10 are going for the Compendium, and if you haven't bought one, shame on you. But go out there, guys, watch some Dota, play some Dota, enjoy it. See y'all next week.